So the past 4 months, I decided to quit alcohol. Wait, not necessarily entirely quit. I'm gonna still save it for anniversaries, for weddings, for New Year's. But for the most part, I've drastically scaled down my consumption of alcohol. I used to just drink maybe once a week when I went out. I might have 2 or 3 drinks, but that's totally eliminated right now. Why, you ask? Well, I've decided that eliminating it from my daily routine, or my weekly routine rather, yields a net positive. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit more and explain my journey and how I decided to quit alcohol. Stay tuned. Now, what was my relationship with alcohol prior to me quitting alcohol? Well, if anyone knows me, I like to have a nice rye or bourbon. I've actually been to quite a bit of distilleries because I just love understanding the process of fermentation and creating alcohol. I went to through a few mezcal bars. I had a brief stint with that, learning. If anyone knows me, if I have any interest or hobby, I delve right into it and I just get laser focused and learn everything about it. And mine during the pandemic was actually mixology. Every other week, I would make a cocktail for friends of mine, and I would pick up a new book, and I would simply learn how to craft a good cocktail. I would get a new simple syrup. I would use my sous vide to make variations of syrups, whatever it may be. I would get new equipment. I was really excited about it, and I really enjoyed it. And it's kind of funny now because I use that equipment to make mocktails. Now, what motivated me to make the change? Well, there are a lot of things going on here. One of them was that as a health conscious person, someone that lifts weights, does mixed martial arts, someone that eats right, I just eventually found that it was kind of incongruent with where I wanted my life to be. I turned 40 last year, getting older. There's a cost to that. So some of those things you have to think about. One of the main things for me was my sleep and my mental health, my cognition. If anyone knows me, I'm a notorious night owl. I like to stay up late. I'll stay up till 2 or 3 a.m. if you let me, just on my computer, reading, just voraciously getting to whatever interests or hobby it may be. Combine that with drinking on the weekends. Like I said, I'm not drinking on a daily basis. I might be drinking once or twice a week when I was doing it. I might have 1 or 2 cocktails, whatever it may be. But that little amount of alcohol disrupted my sleep. I mean, I remember restless nights, just kind of tossing and turning, can't go to sleep. There's actually a lot of studies that show that drinking alcohol and consuming it actually affects your circadian rhythm. It affects the type of sleep you get, your sleep architecture. So really you should be mindful of that, because you should get that REM sleep, but you don't. I know I'm sounding like Andrew Huberman here. I'm getting all sciencey, but this is something you can definitely look into a little bit more, but I'll put some links in below. But definitely something that I was looking at, very mindful. I would not get the quality of sleep that I desired. Then that would cascade into the next day. I would get brain fog. I couldn't really do as much. Like, I could still function and do things, do basic tasks, but when I want to do that deep work or focus on something or that deep physical activity, a day after, it just wasn't there. And even this is not me getting a hangover. I wasn't really getting hangovers. I wasn't drinking as much, but I would still feel this residual, like something in my body. I would get dehydrated. It will obviously affect my mood. You know, there's studies that have shown that when you drink over time, even when you don't drink, it increases the base level of cortisol in your body. So as anyone knows, those science geeks out there like myself, cortisol is a stress hormone, and the stress hormone can affect how you build muscle and retain fat. Super important. Now, I kind of want to go a little bit deeper in terms of talking about the cognitive things that might be me getting this brain fog. I work in tech. I'm a sales engineer. I've worked in other roles. You need to have deep, intense focus when you're trying to problem solve, or if you're presenting to a customer, or if you're kind of trying to, like I said, troubleshoot, whatever it may be. At this phase of my life, I just realized that I needed to be optimum as much as I could. So I simply decided to say, hey, let's see what happens when I just stop drinking. And I will tell you right now, less brain fog, less mental fatigue. So I think it's something to kind of look into, especially depending on your profession. It might benefit you. So for me, it definitely is a positive. I was able to wake up more clear-headed, more focused. I wanted to see how it worked, and that's what it was. Now, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna talk about the 5 benefits I personally experienced from it and kind of line them for you. As I've mentioned, I have 5 of these I want to talk about, and I think that anyone that's interested in this should definitely, if one of these resonate with you, I would say definitely go try it. You don't have to do it for several months like I did. Even before this, I would, at the beginning of the year, I would do a dry January and I still noticed benefits. But once I did them over a month's time, the more removed I was from alcohol, the more I was able to reap these benefits. So the first one, as I've mentioned before, is that mental clarity. Just being able to be mentally sharp, mentally focused, right? Reducing that brain fog. And hey, I'm talking to someone and they give me something to ask, they talk to me about something. I feel like I have that reaction time, just a slight reaction time, slight advantage versus not having it. You have to keep in mind that alcohol is a depressant, so it does dull the senses, and it also increases your inhibition. So I understand why people like it. There's many a time that I would drink and I would get that liquid courage out there and I was able to talk to people. But overall, I think that it's the mental clarity I get is beneficial. The second one is that verbal fluency. The way I'm able to talk fast to you in rapid fire is because combined with that mental clarity, I'm able to coalesce my thoughts and talk about things in a very clear manner and concise. Now, obviously, I'm a huge nerd. I read a lot of books. I consume a lot of content. But for me to put those pieces together is because I've stopped drinking. I feel like that's given me a lot. Third one, talking about that energy from overall energy. I kind of jumped forward a little bit, but I will go back a little bit. But basically, having more energy overall for other things in my life. Since I stopped drinking, I was able to focus more on some of my work stuff. I feel more intense at the gym, right? I'm able to keep a better cadence. And I say that because what I do right now, I'm trying to compete for some kickboxing tournaments and I need the edge and advantage all I can get. What happened is that it just combined with better sleep, that will be the other benefit, is that I just feel like I have a larger energy repository to do things I want, to be able to focus in the direction I want and accomplish things. So I definitely think with it like that. And like I said, I kind of brush over that benefit of sleep, that fourth one I talked about, because I think I've mentioned it more than once in this discussion here, in this video. So yeah, definitely better sleep, better mental clarity, better focus, higher energy. Now, the fifth one I want to talk about is the obvious. It saves you money, right? Damn. I would go out and get a drink, and I know I can make this at home. I'll get an Oaxacan old fashioned, or they'll do some variations of something I really enjoy. Hey, that'll be 18 bucks. I got a tip. Got a tip right now. Everything right now with the post-pandemic, got a tip 20%, right? So I have $4 or $5 on top. I'm spending $22, $23 on a drink. Imagine how that compounds if I'm drinking 2 or 3 of those twice a week or once a week. I'm spending 75 to 150 bucks a weekend on drinking. I'm able to save money by doing this. I think if anything, that's a good thing. And I will tell you a hint also as well. If you go somewhere and you ask for a mocktail, usually you'll get it for free because most people are not purchasing mocktails. They're like, oh no, we'll make that for you for free. So you save money in that way. You can get a grapefruit juice, which I think is really good. You can get a seltzer. Those are good options. And to be honest, the options for non-alcoholic beverages right now are just really amazing. I've made non-alcoholic mezcal mules, non-alcoholic old fashions, whiskey sours. I mean, you can make that sort of stuff if you really want to, but I think ultimately you save a lot more money with that. So that's my video. That's what I wanted to talk about. Let me know in the comments what you think about the benefits. Tell me what you think about that. Tell me if you had any benefits, if you have your own personal experiences. I'm really curious. This is a little bit of a different video than I usually make, but I think that you all will get some benefit from it. So let me know and hit that like button. Thanks.